Thursday. It's 8 o'clock and it's the big detecting show.
It is the big detecting show. Hi.
Good evening, everyone. He's back. He's back. He's back.
I'm back
After
again.
sending me pictures of copious amounts of food at his daughter's 17th birthday last week.
It wasn't copious amount of food. It was an average, normal-sized meal, Adrian.
Dave, the burger, I'm not lying, was about that high. You sent me.
It was Hickory Smokehouse, and if anybody who knows Hickory Smokehouse will understand, it's nice and it's big. And it's should have seen what Mason had. He had more than me.
He's only a little lad, isn't he? So
yeah, but he still had more than me.
He's the same height as you, isn't he now?
I'll give him about an inch or two. Still knock him out. He's only 12, but I'd still win a fight.
So what is he, 6'1"?
He's about 5'9" now.
For a 12-year-old. Mm. Big lad. I reckon he'd be a doorman or a bailiff.
No. Oh, right, sorry. Getting a bit weird.
It's cold. It's time to sit at home, put the big detecting show, look, watch me and him, and hopefully people are going to get out this weekend. It has been freezing down here, and the rain, flipping heck, the poor people in Wales who had the floods, shocking. It's been bad, hasn't it, Dave? Really bad.
I've been watching the videos on YouTube and such like, not YouTube, Facebook and whatnot. I hate to say it, but I love watching a bit of carnage. I just find it so exciting. Obviously, I feel for everybody out there, but I just love watching them videos of flash floods and whatnot.
But I think we get out in the fields this weekend, it's going to be muddy. But then if the frost comes in, which is good for signals in the ground, because it sticks to coins and artifacts underneath when it's wet, and it sometimes helps the better signal. So it's a good time to detect. Have you detected in snow? You have, haven't you?
I found treasure the last time I detected in snow.
You did? Was that with the Knox?
It was
800. Yes. So hopefully this weekend we'll see some good stuff come up from the wet weather we've had and bits like that. So,
and if you're one of them American type people, Merry Thanksgiving.
Oh, talking of that, last week we had the fantastic guest on, didn't we, Chip? With Donna. He was so good. I've sent him the book to America. Yeah, me thinking.
They were bouncing off each other all night, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Donna kept asking him questions like, "Oh, do you go to the gym often? Have you got any pictures of you on holiday swimming and stuff like that?" You know what she's like.
Do you know?
But I sent him the book on Roman counterfeit coinage, new book out by Greenlight, and the postage nearly cost as much as the bloody book to go to America. Flipping heck. But
you will make these promises, won't you?
But I don't know how, because I didn't pay for tracking. I don't know how long it will take, where it is. It's probably in Kazakhstan now, being used to light someone's kitchen fire. I don't know. But yeah, he was really good to have on the show. And I think, like Donna said, we'd love him to come back because his knowledge of Roman coins is mint. Yeah, really good guest that was. Thanks, Dave, and Graham Dempsey for getting him.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anybody else does want to join us on the show, as we say very, very regularly, just drop myself or Adrian a line via the Big Detecting Show.com or on Facebook or wherever Adrian uses his social media because he's so
MySpace. I changed my banner this week.
I know. And I liked it and went, Badger!
I turned off comments. Well, no, notifications. But yeah, I will have a look tonight. So, and I had quite a few friend requests, which I've accepted.
I see your message. Yes, I did, TC, about 5 minutes ago when I sent Bob, our tonight's guest, when I sent him the link to the show. I apologise. I honestly don't get notifications for Facebook Messenger. It's absolutely there. Poo. So if anyone does want to come on the show, give us a shout. Tony, I'll give you a shout later. Anyway.
Jim Painting, anyone out there, give me a pointer as selling a machine that's not plagued by scammers, please. Well, don't sell it on Facebook, because we know a certain individual that's constantly selling things on Facebook, don't we, Dave? Who, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Your best friend at Detectable. And I personally would go to something like the Detecting Hub Forum or something like that, or NCMD.
I wouldn't go to Detecting Hub. Wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. Go on the NCMD forum.
Actually, yeah, because they're the only people who can go on there are members.
Yeah.
So your chances. So if you're an NCMD member, you've got the app on your phone. I think you can actually sell on NCMD.
Pretty sure you can.
They've probably got some rules saying you can't. They've got a new shop now where you can buy pants and things.
Okay.
There is, login.
No, there's only one Adrian's Wall this week. Andy's just told me what it is moments ago.
I can't see anything on there on saying don't sell something, but if you go onto the NCMD website, which if you remember, you can.
Now, we also have been asked, I was going to anyway, but he's asked Adrian, that lovely chap, Nick West, from the Military Heritage Museum. He's conducting a survey at the moment. And if you can go on to the Military Heritage Museum or Metal Detecting War Relics, or if you go onto the Big Detecting Show Facebook group, you will find that he's asked a question about people who found any live ordnance. And obviously he's trying to collate all that information to see what information people do have on that. So we do appreciate you popping over to there and answering that question for us. But also a good question as well from Stephen Brame, who's just asked, has anybody bought anything metal detecting orientated in the Black Friday deals? So let us know that.
That's very interesting, actually, because some distributors have got some very good deals on. Seascope blew me away. 25% discount they got on their site.
Wow.
Which is, I'm looking at the 14-inch coil for the CSMX.
I saw the spinner disc deals. They've got some fantastic deals as well. On is it Technetics or Fisher or something?
Technetics and Fisher, yeah. And Dragon LP, they've all got deals as well. I mean, I was tempted to get an HF coil for Tom's Deus One.
In fact, I actually had an email from XP today about Black Friday deals that they're doing.
Oh, I haven't read that. What did it say?
I don't know. I can't remember. I just had Black Friday deals. Anyway, so tonight we're doing a little bit different. As you know, we cover the entirety of the historic genre. And one of my old colleagues who retired a couple of years ago kindly offered to come on the show tonight. Now, I know that Ange and Derek will know the locations that we discussed tonight very, very well because they're from the area. And I know that one of Ange's most fantastical, loved places of all is Little Morton Hall. But tonight we're going to be visiting for the start of the show Biddulph Grange, which sits just over the border from Cheshire in Lancashire. Biddulph Grange, fantastic place. Absolutely love it there. It's one of them places that you can go 1,000 times and still find something completely different that you haven't even spotted before. So Bob's going to be joining us now. Good evening, Bob. How are we?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Bob.
Wave to everybody in work because I'm sure everybody in work will be watching.
Yeah, not seen me for a while. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yes, you've a little bit quiet, but that's. Don't worry about that. People can just turn the sound up.
Okay, no worries. Right.
So, Bob, you are recently retired. A couple of years now, isn't it?
Just over 2, yeah.
And obviously, I know. You introduce yourself for Adrian because Adrian doesn't know you.
Well,
no.
I'd spent 28 years working for the same company as Dave, JCB. I took retirement after a few health scares. I couldn't sit at home any longer. I thought, I'll do some volunteering. I'll make use of myself, even if I can't get a paid job. And I decided on volunteering with the National Trust. And I managed to get a job with them at the local one, closest to me, Biddulph Grange garden. Just doing a Saturday afternoon working in the second-hand bookshop. And it's moved on from there, and I've got another job now that's probably I enjoy more as a geology gallery room guide, which I'll get on to a little bit later. It's very, very interesting.
Very, very interesting.
Yes. Have you got my first pictures there, Dave? If you want,
I have. I'll get to them in a minute. I'm just pulling up a picture to show everybody Biddulph Grange itself, which I was doing before the show, but a child was on his bloody stupid thing. So that's Biddulph Grange, anyway.
Who used to live Biddulph Grange as it looks today? Well, obviously not today, but modern day. It's changed since then.
Who used to live there, Rob?
Beg your pardon?
Who lived there before the National Trust?
I'll start off. Originally, they got the word Grange. It's an ancient word meaning a sheep farm. But the original owner who had the house built, Mr. James Bateman. He was a very famous botanist of the Victorian times. But his family originally got going in Cumbria. They were wool traders, mainly with the British Army. They made uniforms for the British Army. And they gradually migrated south. They were entrepreneurs. They were in mining, steel industry, and later on they got into coal mines, which obviously North Staffordshire, there's nothing but. But it was originally his great-grandfather. He lived just to the south of Biddulph, the other side of Biddulph town, and they lived at a place called Knipersley Hall. And his grandfather never really lived there. It was his James Bateman's father, another James. He lived there, and when Bateman got married to a local Lady Maria Edgerton, who came from Tatton Park, if you know it. She was a well-known gardener at the time. They decided to build their own house on what was at the time Biddulph Grange, a small dilapidated farm, and that became Biddulph Grange Hall.
How many rooms is it? It looks big.
Well, it's been changed many times. The centre section of the building, if you can you put it back up again, Dave, if you can see it?
Yeah, I've got it up.
Huge.
Leave that one, if you like. If you can see the taller building over to the left, that's the original house. There were two small wings either side of it, but the buildings you can see to the far right are actually hospital wards. It was opened as a hospital in 1922. If I get back onto the history, James Bateman spent the family silver because he was only interested in his botany work, and it cost him a fortune because he was paying for expeditions for his orchids from Mexico and Guatemala. But anyway, we think he spent the family silver. So the building was sold to the local MP, Mr. Robert Heath, who was probably be a multimillionaire if he was still about. That's James Bateman. Now, Robert Heath, the MP, he lived there from roughly 1870 until he died. And the family stayed there until 1922 when they moved out and gave the property up to a local children's orthopedic charity, using one of those words we don't use anymore. They no, they've got cripples aid or something or other. I shouldn't say it. And anyway, they went broke after 3 to 4 years, and a Lancashire charity took it on doing the same work, children's orthopaedics. And obviously then we got onto the NHS, and was it 1948? And then it was purely and simply a orthopaedic hospital, of which you can see the open wards there.
Cool. Wouldn't it be lovely to be in a hospital like that now? That'd be like ultra private, wouldn't it? Outside looking on the green.
The thing is, it was NHS. My father-in-law was there in the mid-70s when he had just after he'd had a knee replacement. But I think really that may be that picture you've just done on may be more to do with they must have had TB patients there, or we didn't. Records don't survive any longer, and that must have been 100 times worse than COVID ever was. And that's the garden today. Now, if you can leave that one up, Dave.
Yeah.
What you can see there, right in front of you, is the north wing of the original building. The little bit to the right, taller, can you see it's got the dirty facade on it?
Yeah.
Well, the original house was like it was on the left. But in 1896, they had a big fire, and it was largely burnt down to the ground. It rebuilt more or less right away, but they put that facade on it. The original building may have looked something like Osborne House on the Isle of Wight. It was built in the Italian style, very popular in the day.
I've been there. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Have you?
Yeah, Osborne House. Yeah. My wife loves it. Yeah, it's really, really nice. It's got its own private beach. Sorry.
Sorry, Rob.
If you get onto the garden pictures, if you like, any particular order, it doesn't really matter. Now, Bateman, he wanted a garden rather than a park. He did have some parkland, but in the immediate vicinity of his house, he had a number of follies built. Now, this is in the China garden. He had help from it. Sorry, I'll just have to refer to my notes. Get confused. 2 seconds.
That's because you're getting old, Rob.
Yeah, right. One of his friends, a gentleman named Edward Cook, who was a famous painter of his day, amongst other things. Now, he helped him largely with the design of the garden, and he had a lot of the rocks brought in, which can be found around the garden, because it's all follies. You can actually get lost in there. Well, it's not much more than about 2 or 3 acres. No, it's got tunnels and mountains and all sorts. Nowhere else in the country can you wander into a Cheshire cottage, and exit through Egypt. Which can you find those 2 pictures, Dave? That's China. No, that's later on. Right near the beginning, the first lot I sent you, I think.
All right, bear with me.
Yeah, no worries. Keep going. Right, we're back in the China garden now. Sorry about this, folks. Right, now that's walking up. There we go. That's that back one, Dave, please.
I won.
Now that's what we call the Cheshire cottage. Now it is a folly. It walks into. It's very, very dark in there.
It is.
But when you walk inside, you turn left, and when you come out, if you turn around and look back where you've come from, it's I think it's actually a U, but it's trimmed like a pyramid, and there are four sphinx either side of the pathway. If Dave can just find the photo for us.
So
there we go. Now that's the exit to the Cheshire cottage. It's only a distance of about 40 feet, something like that. Which is
so you say. Rob, you say it's a folly, as in something that's useless and doesn't bear resemblance what it actually is.
It's fun.
Yeah, fun. Yeah, it's quite extravagant, isn't it?
Yes, well, like I said, he never had a paid job in his life, and it must have been very good to have a rather large bank balance to work with.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if obviously you visited other country houses and what have you, you find that most families had something that they were interested in and liked to show off. You know, if it was just a portrait gallery or a gallery of statues, they all had an interest in something.
Dave's looking for.
I'm not. No, I've just pulled it off for him. I haven't pulled it off.
Oh.
I've just come off there for a minute while we
what you
continue talking, because I think the next batch of photographs are actually the geology hall.
Yeah, the geology gallery.
So let's pull that up, shall we? Up, not off.
What did you have an interest in geology before, Rob?
No, I've been an interested amateur in most things regarding history and knowledge. You know, but no, it's just one of my colleagues. She's like a curator. She's got a degree in geology, and there's nothing she doesn't know about the gallery or geology elsewhere. Now,
well, Rob's always had it. For as long as I've known Rob, our conversations have always ended up in some way related to history, to the point that most times there's a new episode of something archaeological or history related on telly, Bob messages me, BBC Two now.
Right, Dave,
which I'm set record.
keep that picture in mind.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it second, but you need to find one looking through a doorway down some steps into a courtyard. That's the one. Right. Now, Mr. Bateman decided to have this gallery built for the main reason he was deeply religious. And obviously, with being a scientist, he was having problems reconciling the two. So he came up with an idea of putting his beliefs down against the science, some of the science that he was learning along the way. And he got his ideas from a guy named Hugh Miller, who was a well-known Victorian geologist, who suggested that the creation could have come from different epochs in time. Now, Bateman ticked that word epoch, which, if you look it up in a dictionary, it doesn't have a start or an end. It's just a length of time. And he decided to use the word epoch, and he changed it to days of the week. So when Bateman built this gallery, he tried to tell the story of Genesis. There were originally 7 bays along the wall. We lost the 7th when the hospital was built. But he's basically telling the story of Genesis. And under these 7 days, which he's got listed, are different fossils going from the entrance door here through to the other end of the gallery, which is where he lets his visitors out into the garden. But even though day 7's missing, which was a day of rest, there wouldn't have been anything there anyway. I like to tell most visitors that the garden itself is day 7, the Garden of Eden, for want of a better word. And this was the only way in for visitors at the time. If you can see in the background there's the original entrance portico that goes into the house. And there's a separate entrance into the gallery, which is just down the steps in front of us to the left. There's another doorway that goes into the house. We don't have access to that anymore, which I'll get on to a little bit later. But if you go to the next picture, please, Dave, the one with the things on the wall. Now, this is the story of Mr. Bateman's introduction to all his guests. Now, this is an early Victorian way of recycling things. These are, apart from the plinth in the middle, that may have just held a lantern in time because there was no electricity in there. These are all repurposed. Roman artifacts. These are all copies, by the way. Now we've got the originals in safekeeping. Now the top one, if you can see closely enough, Mr. Bateman is calling that one God. But we know from looking at full-size sculptures, it's actually the head of Goliath after he's been slain by David. The original sculpture, it actually shows David with his foot on Goliath's head. Now, the two below that is calling Adam and Eve. We don't know who the lady is, but we definitely know that Adam is actually Hercules. And either side of the plinth, there's sections from a Roman sarcophagus. And you can't quite see on these pictures. They've both got lions on them. The one on the left, the lion's being slain by human beings, and the one on the right, I think the lion's having a go. Oh, is it a horse, Dave? Can't remember now.
The one on the left is two people, and the one on the right, it looks like he's chewing on a...
Yeah, the one on the left is actually lion, bottom right.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Now, the strange stone underneath it, you won't be able to make out here, but that is half of a head. Can you see a stylized beard?
Yeah.
2 lips? Now, the jury's still out on what Bateman's getting on there, but with it being at the bottom and being, well, we think black. It might be hell or the devil himself.
Yeah.
But the stone that it was originally carved from was very highly prized in Roman times. It was only quarried in Egypt. It's called porphyry. It's still very valuable now.
So were the original up on the wall originally? The original ones were originally on the wall?
They were, yes. Now, when we get into the gallery itself, Dave, if you can find day 1 and day 2 in order, if you could. Right, now that's day 1. Nothing much happened in day 1. We've just got basic invertebrates and what have you. And if you can see the frieze underneath, they are rocks of the same period. We're going back to something like 900 million years. And the fossils above these rocks, they did come from that strata. We're going roughly in a line from North Wales down to the Thames Basin as we traverse along the gallery. Day 2. There we go. We've got fish there.
Cool, flipping it.
If you see the big one in the middle, there's about half a dozen fish on it. We've got trilobites and what have you. And we've got the various it's limestones and what have you underneath. In fact, the one on the right, the smallest one, that's actually a crinoid, if you know what one of those is, Dave. Crinoid?
No idea.
Yeah, Castleton. If you go to Castleton, looking in the rocks, they're literally millions.
Oh, right, yeah.
They're like tubes. Day 3.
Oh, that's amazing, isn't it?
Now we're into the Carboniferous era now. Most of the ones you can see on there, they were originally in coal. But they're actually plant life, obviously. The reason why plant life was so well preserved within the coal deposits is because the plants actually grew in swamps, but the swamp was free of oxygen, so there was no microorganisms in there to eat them, as it were. So they never rotted. They were only compressed through time. That's why we had coal. Now, day 4. Now that you can't really see those, but the most interesting one here, that's actually the head of a crocodilian type dinosaur. Wow. You're looking down on the top of its head at its eye sockets.
Yeah.
Yes. Now that is a copy of a copy. Because I'd left it till we got this far along the gallery before I explained it. This was the workshop for the hospital that was on the site.
Right.
And roughly 80% of the fossils went missing while it was a workshop. I tend to think that there's retired electricians and joiners who've got rather interesting fossils on the wall. Don't quote me. Now, that is a copy of a copy. When we acquired the gallery in 2001, which is roughly 20 years after, 10 years after we took on the garden, this was a wreck. And we spent 10 years raising the funds and employed a part-time curator who managed to source fossils from other people's collections, and we copied them, put them on the wall. The reason we know that they're a similar fossil to what was originally there, because they did at least leave the holes in the wall that the fossils fitted into. The facets, I was looking for the word, and that's an exact fit. That's the one along the wall that is an exact fit. But like I say, the copy came from the Warwick Market Hall Museum. The original fossil was found in Germany.
Wow.
Next one, Dave, if we find it. Right, now.
And these are actually becoming a little bit more obvious was what they are now, aren't
Dinosaur-y like, aren't they? Yes. Right, now, we've got the vast majority of those as originals, which are actually in safekeeping now. As you can see, the rectangular one low down in the middle, underneath the day. Now, that's an ichthyosaur. To the best of the knowledge, of our knowledge, they've only been found in Somerset and Devon in Britain. But that one's actually juvenile. There's an adult's head above it and to the right.
Okay.
You see it, look?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how big they got. I wouldn't like to meet the small one.
I think there's an actual video of this on the National Trust Midlands YouTube, which discusses the hall and the ichthyosaur.
Yeah. Next one.
I'm lost. Where am I?
At home.
Day 6.
Oh.
There we are, day 6, and no, you can't mistake that. That's the tusk of a woolly mammoth. And just to the right of it, closest to the plinth holding up the ceiling, is a woolly mammoth's tooth. You're looking down on the top of it, the part that grinds its food.
And it's interesting to see how the stone and such like types have changed dramatically over that time frame as well.
Yes, a lot newer rocks. Have you ever been to the Isle of Wight?
No.
Yes.
Well, you get similar. It's like they're different coloured sands at the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, you can fill them up in like a test tube or a windmill shape.
Yeah.
It used to be £1, and now it's like £30. But yeah,
Allen Bay. That's it.
That's it. Allen Bay.
Allen Bay. And next to that, Dave. Now we've had a few complaints about these two. Those are our additions. What we've got there is the head of a gorilla, and next to it, a Neanderthal. Now, if Bateman was still alive, he'd immediately have those removed because he was a creationist. He didn't believe that man came from the animal kingdom. No serious complaint to my tab, but people do point it out, and we have to tell them they are our additions.
Are those ones real?
No. I don't think we ever have the real ones either. They're very good copies, aren't they? And that's the gallery in its entirety. If you can imagine the ladies and gentlemen coming in at the far end through that door, they gradually process through the gallery, having a lecture at every day before Bateman let them loose into his garden.
Do you know, Bob, I don't think I've actually ever been through the hall. I've definitely not been here. The last time I went, I only bookshop and tea room and gardens. That
Yeah,
was
well,
it.
Tea room.
This is at the other end of the building, Dave.
Yeah,
Is it me, or does that seem a little Masonic?
it does.
Do you know, I don't know. There are a few myths about.
There are a few myths which we'll get onto later, Adrian, which might add to that. That idea.
I'm not very knowledgeable on the myths and what have you, but I am aware of them. We can point them out with the photos anyway.
Yeah, you've actually got some of the photos which, in some way, are contrived by certain authors who like to make up bullshit to sell books. You've got some of them images coming up in a bit. Did I say that out loud then? Sorry, I just thought it.
I'm not
There's one.
aware of him being in any Masonic lodge or what have you. I couldn't tell you.
Very elaborate, isn't it?
But Bateman, he left in roughly 1870, and he moved down to London to carry on with his botanical work with the RHS. And he retired on the south coast at Worthing, and that was 1898, I think it was. I think it was 87 or 88 when he died. But he never really saw the garden mature. He only lived at Biddulph Grange for 40 years. And that 40 years for a garden like that's nothing.
So I'm just jumping forward to the gardens a little bit, and I'll come back to the mythology, folklore in relation to other sites in a little bit.
That's called the Dahlia Walk, which you wouldn't, if I'm not asking you to, but if you went back to that one showing the hospital wards and the lawns, you wouldn't see that because that was filled in. That it was rather, the Dahlia Walk is roughly right in front of that, the ward.
I see.
Yeah, it was quite expensive to do the archaeology on it before it was reinstated.
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not the garden is Grade 1 listed, but as such we can't change it in any way. They've even got to use the same plants.
Really? I didn't know you could have a Grade 1 listed garden. That's not great though for the soil if you're using the same plants. It's like farming, isn't it? I suppose you've got to put nutrients in. Keep
plants of similar types.
Oh, right, okay. Lovely place.
Is that
doorway,
archway over there? Is that the one where you go downstairs and there's some archaeology down there?
Yeah, but some of the fossils were in there at one time, Dave.
Right.
And before the geology gallery reopened, but like I say, it was a wreck for a number of years. But that the building over the top of that display space, that's one of the original rooms that's still left. It's the drawing room. It's now an overspill for the tea room. But the main house itself, it was bought by a developer in 1988, and he sold the garden off to the National Trust. The lion's share of the parkland is sold to the Staffordshire Moorlands District Council, which is now Biddulph Grange Country Park. The centre of the building,
which is a great walk in itself.
Yes. Well, it was originally part of Biddulph Grange.
So you could ask the council if you... Sorry.
Go on, carry on.
You could ask, if it's council land, Dave, you could ask the council if you could metal detect on it. You could ask. They would probably say no, but you could unearth some even more artifacts. You could even find the fossils that have been stolen and buried because they hid them.
Fair play.
if they had fillings in them.
Yeah. Well, the original building, which was the nurses' home, they had a couple of wards in there and an operating theatre. Is now 9 private apartments
That's a place to live.
Very posh they are too.
Dave, take that lawn away because that's making me feel depressed. Because it's summer, it's like a beautiful. Oh, that's phallic.
Actually, what that
Right,
is,
now
Adrian,
if you leave that one you just had on, Dave, that leads
That
us
one?
into the next one,
okay,
where we get onto the mysteries and myths and what have you. And you see, halfway up we've got Biddulph Grange and the Spring Wood. Can you see that? The Egyptian temple.
yeah,
Right, now you can obviously see a line there that's roughly north to south.
yeah.
Now at the top is a place known as the Bridestones. You heard that one?
Yeah, I've done. There's a video on our YouTube that a lecture that I gave on it a couple of years ago.
Right now, there is some myth that they are connected with the Gorton's Well at the bottom, but I could largely debunk it and say the Gorton's Well is a natural spring, but the stonework around it is rather modern. It's fed by an iron pipe, which was probably installed by the Batemans when they owned the land around there at Narbisley Hall.
You can also probably say you get an even better alignment than somewhere else in another location, which runs straight through the Grange itself.
I've heard it said that the line from Biddulph Grange that goes up through that Spring Wood there up to what somebody's called the cave is that aligns with the summer solstice. But hey, most country houses face south and have pathways and what have you. It's not for me to say it's true or it isn't because I don't know. Right, have you got pictured? That's the barrow at the Bridestones. You know where the word Bridestones come from, Dave?
Do you know what? I've spoke about it 1,000 times. I mean, mine's gone blank. It's the name of the tribe.
It comes from Nordic.
Yeah, there's several, Bob. If I remember correctly,
Nordic Braither or Broadstones, as we'd know it, and obviously it got changed over the years to Bridestones. As for the stone circle that they said that was there, I don't think there's any stones left, is there?
I don't think so, Bob. If you have a good look, there's an article on ArcMD Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine website that I actually wrote on it, and it's got links on it to the geophysics that was done in the field adjacent. And there's no evidence in that field of anything. However, when you drive up the lane to it, where the marker post is, in the adjacent gardens there to there was another hall there, but now it's private houses and whatnot. That it suggested that there was quite a few of the stones under there. That itself, I could give an entire episode talking about the Bridestones and the folklore and mythology and all the other things and all the peculiar things that have been reported to me in the past when I was doing the paranormal stuff, and the actual odd electromagnetic build up in the area in relation to the underground, the faults. There's a lot of faults there, and one runs directly through the field. You know, the field in front of it, next to the main road.
I remember, yeah.
That one there's got a fault line running all the way down there, known as the Red Rock Fault, which joins the Mowcop fault line, and it's anytime there's any. Because we've got, as everybody knows in the UK, we've got earthquakes constantly happening, seismic activity going on all the time, but people don't realise them because they're very low level in relation to what you get in America or in Turkey or anything like that. So when this is happening, the seismic activity, the tectonic plates or the fault lines are rubbing together and causing electrical energy, which a lot of people will say, oh, it's ley lines and all that claptrappery. But yeah, I could do an entire program on all the stuff from there. But anyway, there's a geological survey available that was done by the Stoke-on-Trent Museum Archaeological Society. They found nothing in that field, but there's all suggestions about things in the gardens, in the quarry, things like that. And allegedly,
there's lots of quarries.
A lot of the stone was robbed years ago and went all over the place for building works and what have you. It was a lot bigger, Adrian. It was massive at one point. It's literally 5 minutes from the house, and I pass it going to and from work every day.
So these stones here,
yeah, called the bride stones.
To burial.
Yeah,
it was a burial cairn, which has basically been robbed on continuously, and this is what's left in it: the chamber and the two standing stones. I sounded like I knew what I was on about and everything. Then
I'll tell you what, I was enjoying that. You and Rob chatting away. Yes, and this is part of the National Trust stone. Where this land is.
We're on public land now. Public land or other private land.
I think it's cared for by the English Heritage, but it's not. It's just one of them stone sites that's there and cared for, yet nobody actually takes any notice about it. In fact, I've actually. Visit. Yeah, it's just off the side of the road. I've actually said numerous times there should be a Friends that Bide stones, because in the summer you literally can't get close to the stones because of the overgrown crap from the adjacent fields.
Is there no plaque there saying what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
I haven't actually got a photo of that. Sorry.
I'll tell you what. Let me go over to this. Stop sharing there. Go on to there. Start sharing on there. So this is an article I wrote quite a few years ago. That's another view from it, Adrian.
There we go. It's from the other side, isn't it? That?
Yeah. But got multiple images.
Do you get a lot of the? Do you get a lot of the long? Use your key cursor on the keyboard, left and right. Is it because it escape? Control delete. Do you get a lot of the long-haired travelling community go there?
No, you don't.
Oh,
I know how to do it now. Press back. So this is the field adjacently. This has got the fault line running through it. It's been done to death. There's a local group who have. But that's one where that's the geological fit. The geophys and all the archaeological surveys have been done on that field. The view is astounding.
Congleton and Cheshire, isn't it, Dave?
That there is Cheshire and Wales that way. Yeah, Congleton's to the right and Biddulph's to the left.
Did I tell you my nan came from Cheshire, Dave?
No, you didn't.
Budworth or Budworth.
Oh yeah, I know Budworth.
Yeah,
little Budworth. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
No, that's Bridestone Stone. That's actually the quarry.
Oh, I was going to say, he's got a phone number. Didn't have a fax. Say, it's got its own voicemail.
And then here's some old pictures, old pictures of it. That's only a little one. I'll have to get rid of that.
Yeah, cool.
And that's what it was supposed to look like, Adrian. But obviously covered in a great big bit of earth.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously what we were talking about regarding the Stoke-on-Trent geological survey actually didn't find much at all in that field.
Well, if they sent me and you there with our metal detectors, I guarantee we'd find more.
You would.
No. Dave. Count down his stuff. Just little bits.
Right. To get back onto the myths, there's a couple more photos there, Dave. Have you got some with what look like Celtic crosses on? If you can find them.
Yeah. The Templar graves. No.
That's Galton's route, right? Ah, that one. No. Back again. No, wrong way then. There we go. That's one of them.
Yeah.
Now these are found being used as benches at St Lawrence's Church, which is adjacent to Biddulph Grange. Now, the church is on the site of a Saxon church, which was originally a probably small one with thatch. But there is some mythology saying that these stones were carved by Saracens that were brought back from the Holy Crusades by a local Templar.
The Saracens of Biddulph Moor.
Yes. Now, it probably is true that Saracens were brought back from the Crusades when they were found to be excellent craftsmen. Hence, they were carving rocks and what have you for whoever was willing to pay. But they actually lived at a place at the top of the hill called Biddulph Moor. And there's quite a large family who live at Biddulph Moor with the surname of Bailey. And they like to say that they came from the Saracens in the 12th century. I think it was the 12th century. But unfortunately, these stones have been looked at and they're actually Celtic. They're 300 years earlier. Mm-hmm. So we don't really know where they came from.
But if you like to listen to half-wits who haven't got a clue what they're on about and make money out of writing books and having a load of cult
do we know
followers,
who we're talking about, Dave?
I know who we're on about.
Yeah.
They would like you to believe that these are Templar gravestones. And there was a psychic called Mary Heath, I think her name was, who was connected to Biddulph Hall, who wasn't actually a psychic. She was just married to somebody who went underground, directly underground Biddulph Hall, and found a sealed chamber, which was found to be a Roman temple, which there's absolutely no historical data on in any way, shape, or form. But he likes to tell this brilliant story about her, and now it's just bomb pottery. Yeah. And he's also claims that in the gardens, there's certain area of the gardens which are mystical properties. And he actually contacted me once to ask me, did I know anybody who geophys, because he wanted to scan certain areas of the gardens to find the hidden room, the hidden location.
Oh, right, under the yew tree.
Magic the coffee beans.
Does he believe in fairies?
Probably.
Right. Did you know, Dave, that do you know if you come away from the Grange onto the main road, go onto Coldwater Road,
yeah,
the road goes down a little and then round to the left.
Yeah.
Did you know that there's the remains of a Mott and Bailey castle there? There's just the Mott left.
Yes, but
there is record of it.
I didn't know it exactly, but something was pointed out to me on aerial photography a number of years ago by a former friend that shows a possible deserted medieval village or possibly even older up on the hill to the right of that behind the Talbot Inn sort of area.
Yeah. There are a number of people say the hidden water courses up there, but Bateman did own Biddulph Old Hall at one time.
Right.
His son, who became vicar at St Lawrence's Church, actually lived there for a while. But there are remains of watercourses and what have you that people attribute to myth and what have you. But we think it's Victorians trying to change the watercourse, because we do know that after the fire, Robert Heath put a lake in what's now Biddulph Grange Country Park, and it was a feeder for it.
Which got a lovely little boathouse in it.
Yeah.
Donna Martin has just come up with could be Celtic chapel forerunner to Saxon Christian Church in the north. I'm not familiar with this kind of Celtic cross in the south. So true Celtic as opposed to Iron Age. Interesting. Thank you, Donna. Will Wade, Clinton Baptiste to investigate that place. Yes, I saw him last year.
Clinton Baptiste, I think, wrote that book. Well,
yeah, he probably did. Very funny.
If you put Biddulph Grange and folklore, you'll find his videos on YouTube. You can watch them and ridicule them. I mean, watch them and enjoy them if you want.
We have got Adrian's Wall tonight, haven't we? Have we or not?
We'll have a brief interlude, shall we? And we'll stop sharing for a moment and we'll come back to it. But
Robert doesn't know about this.
Bob doesn't know about this. Bob's never played Adrian's Wall. I don't think Bob would actually get it, but we'll still we'll play. Not because I know what it is tonight, and Bob, and normally you might have a chance, but tonight I don't think you'd get it exact. So. Couple of nice fibulas on there, Adrian.
Where?
On the
right. This isn't an artifact.
I didn't know where I was pointing then.
Sorry. This isn't an artifact from the Portable Antiquities scheme. It's just a bit different tonight because I didn't have time. This is... Should we do a prize tonight? Do you reckon Mr. Dempsey would do something kindly for us?
We can only ask.
Yeah, composite cleaning pencil. Hope Graham's wife's all right. She got bitten badly by a stray dog.
She got bitten by a stray dog, and the people whose dog bit her buggered off. So the police...
No, they did say sorry, and then they went off, and it's so bad she's got to have plastic surgery. So poor old Mrs. Dempsey. Awful.
Yes, Nat, I hope you're all right and bearing up.
So go to compositecleaningpencil.com, get your Christmas gifts, and that will help pay for Graham's wife's plastic surgery on her leg.
Jim Painting says, if you want to see a Saracen's Head, come to Chelmsford. They do good beer. Jim, if you want to see a Saracen's Head, come to Ashbourne and you'll see one that actually got kidnapped by the townsfolk because they were trying to take it away because they didn't want a black man's head in the middle of town. And the locals took it from the street and hid it until they were given the permission to put it back again.
Can I just interrupt on that one, Dave?
Certainly.
Could that be the where the Ashbourne football match came from?
Possibly. Have you heard about the Ashbourne football match, Adrian?
No.
Yeah, it probably hurts. Is it Easter? Is it Easter?
No, it's near Christmas. It's November. Oh.
The Ashbourne football match take place at Easter?
Yeah, Shrove Tuesday.
Yeah, it's, Pancake Day. So there's like innumerable people involved, like hundreds of drunken people with a ball trying to get it from one end of the town to the other. And just like
I have seen it. It's
plenty of breakages involved.
Yes, I have people, physical bones.
I think it could have originally been a Saracen's Head.
Possibly. Yeah, it's just a street brawl.
I'm going to research the pub Jim Painting's talking about called the Saracen's Head in Chelmsford. Big pub. I don't know if it does good beer. Last time I went there, I felt really old because there's a lot of young people.
Hey,
right,
Bob, Adrian's got a pub by him that me and you would love to go to, Bob. Tell him about the pub by you that you go down in the cellar to get your drinks.
Oh.
Well, there's quite a few we go. Well, we're not allowed in the cellar, but they don't have it on tap. It's in a proper cellar. So you just is a blackboard with what they got, and then they go down into the cellar and get drinks. And if you ask for something like a pint of Stella or something, they just look at you. I think they do lager now. They do one German lager.
The
Go
doors
down
over
with
there.
a jug, bring it back up in a jug, don't they?
Yeah. Sometimes if you get 2 points. Right. That's not right near me. It's not far from me, but it's a very famous pub, actually. Right, tonight's Adrian's Wall, because Rob's got other things to say. I'm going to say Dig Arware kindly sponsor us, and tonight Mr. Dempsey will give away something. You'll get something from him. It might be
his toenail clippings.
Yeah, it could be. No, he hasn't got any toenails. So this tonight isn't an artifact. It's part of a metal detector, and I'm going to leave it at that. I want to know the model of metal detector, and if you know the brand. Right, numbers. Anyone?
I'm waiting to see the numbers.
And we have a slight delay.
It's just you going like that. Still,
Well, am I not moving?
Adrian's Wall, kindly sponsored by.
Oh, sorry. Right. Oh,
there it is. So
right.
As tonight's guest, Bob, it's much like catchphrase, apart from without the noise and Mr. Chips doing rude things. Pick a number.
21.
21, Ava, and I didn't even mention it.
Aced it. What model?
Right. So, Bob, you choose the numbers, and I'll keep an eye on who's saying what. Router 71 pinpoint lever toggle, a Nokia.
No,
that's a phone. Will an Arado 120 AD.
No.
Go on, Bob. Keep picking numbers.
10.
Number 10, Maggie's Dan. A Nissan.
Nissan.
Rutus Alta 71. A Garrett AT Camlock.
No. We need the model.
A Minelab machine.
No, we need the model. So is it like a
Garrett Vortex?
Flipping it. Who said that? I wasn't expecting them to get that. Who said that? Who said that?
It's that lovely Mr. Stephen Brain.
Well done, Stephen. It certainly is the Garrett Vortex, which I've heard, rumour has it, that it will be shipping very soon. And I hope to be getting one soon. And I'll be testing it. So well done, Stephen. Not Stephen. Who was it?
It is Stephen Brain. That lovely Mr. Stephen Brain.
Oh, that's so good. We got your address on record, GDPR and all that. We'll send you something, Stephen. I know exactly what you're going to get. You'll like it, and I don't think you got one. So
Christmas baubles.
Oh, he remembers the cams from RCM. Yeah, they're very nice, actually. Very nice cams. So, be getting the Vortex soon. So, who was it in the chat? Mercy and Metal Detecting. He won a Garrett Vortex, so he should be receiving one soon. But well done, Mr. Brain. Right, we go back.
We do.
To a cave.
Where's this cave, Robert?
That, if you carry on up the what's known as the Wellingtonia Avenue from Biddulph Grange, it goes into the country park, and further up it enters this what they call a cave, which
is a quarry.
To a certain someone called Springwood Priory.
Right.
And there's no evidence of a priory ever existed there. But there you go. That's somebody's impression of the Springwood Priory, which is allegedly on Biddulph Moor, or was. But they've been largely debunked since then, because there are quite a number of trackways coming down into the valley from Biddulph Moor, because it was always been known as an area for quarrying stone. And we think this was a trackway that facilitated that was later used by the Batemans as a place for his gamekeeper to hide, because a lot of his wildfowl was going missing. There's no evidence for anything in that picture that you can see there.
Mm.
But that's
Do you know,
just
Bob?
the end of that tunnel.
There's actually in a ghost-related book that was released in the early noughties, suggestion of a Congleton Priory, and there's no evidence of that either.
No, I don't gain any pleasure by debunking anything, but if you're going to say something, please back it up with some data.
Yeah.
Now that is Gorton's Stone, which is near to the Gorton's Well, which is on the Knipersley Hall estate. We think it's an early attempt to try something for the Biddulph Grange garden, because obviously it was still in the family. Though that is a large rock on the top of three others. It's not naturally occurring. It couldn't be.
Mm.
I'm
just googling where, because I've never been round Knipersley Lake Reservoir, so I've never actually been to Gorton Well or the anything like that.
They're both on the north side, Dave.
Yeah, I've just googled them now. Yeah, put them on
the
my
reservoir. The reservoir is a feeder for the Caldon Canal. I know it's miles away, but it is a feeder.
So is my wife. What, Adrian? I think that is the last image in relation to the Biddulph Grange in that, Bob. And then you go over to Morton Hall now. This is what Ange likes. Look at that, Adrian.
Just look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Medieval manor house. Higgledy-piggledy, and one of the best rooms I've ever been in there.
It looks like a little bit unbalanced.
It does.
It reminds me of Willy Wonka.
What, himself?
No, it looks like it's made out of licorice and sort of marshmallows, but it's not.
Stunning place, mate. As I said, Ange Sherwin, she often says on Facebook that it's a second home. She spends a lot of time there, I think.
It's stunning. Absolutely stunning. And the reason why we've got it in the condition it's in today is the fact that it was neglected for so long. It was never, ever modernised. There's very little electricity in there. In fact, the only electricity in there is just powering the fire alarms.
Really?
Yes. There's some electricity in the tea room over the back, but that's neither here nor there.
How do they keep it from damp?
Beg your pardon?
How do they stop it getting damp?
They don't. They have to close it during the winter months.
Oh.
They can't even light the fires in there, which you find out about with a later photograph. Why we can't have a fire.
Oh, I see, yeah.
This was originally owned by the Morton family, who built the North Range between 1504 and 1508. Have you got that one looking over the courtyard, Dave, if you can find it? It's an outside view. There we go. Now, not the bit to the right, because that's a later addition, but the original building is that you can see at the back between 1504 and 1508 there by a Mr. William Morton. It was later added to 1550, where they built the left-hand side as a buttery and what have you, and we've got the three-faced building on the right with the nice windows in it. The
windows are amazing, proper.
Yeah. Most of the glass isn't original because it was leaded, and leaded glass doesn't last forever. So it had to be replaced over time, especially the lead.
That's
It
the
was
chapel.
extended again in the 1550s. They built the Eastern Range and the South Range. That's actually the chapel. I'll stick on the pictures, Dave. It's easy to do it that way.
All right, yeah.
No, that's it. That's in the Eastern Range. That's the chapel as it existed. Next one. Now, these are in the long gallery. That's at one end of the gallery, and there's one at the other. There's religious connotations there towards Protestantism. That is after, if you can read the old
boobies
English,
out.
Can you read the Old English? It says on
the wheel of fortune, whose rule is ignorance.
It's basically that the family's trying to touch both bases, because during Elizabethan times it was rather dangerous to be a Catholic. But the thing was, we could have had a Catholic back on the throne rather quickly. So they're trying to touch both bases. If you can find the other one, Dave. It's at the other end of the gallery, but it's a similar picture.
That one?
That one. That's the closest I could get. We were busy at the time. Now, that's actually...
The Sphere of Destiny, and I can't read the other one.
But it's actually spelt incorrectly.
Is it?
It's actually the Sphere of Destiny. Can you see the sphere at the top of the diagram?
Oh, yeah.
There's religious things in them saying things will come to you from God, and at the other end it's more to do with the Catholic religion.
I'm going to have to show you that. Go on, Bob.
Both diagrams are taken from a book of the contemporary Elizabethan times. Robert Record, who was actually famous for inventing the equals symbol in mathematics.
I'm going to have to show this next picture. This is the long hall, Adrian.
The long gallery.
Long gallery, sorry. You would honestly, if you stood up there, you would think you were pissed. It's all over the place. And I mean, like, proper up, down, left, right, everywhere.
You should open it up as a bar. That'd be really funny. With no chairs, but tables, like bar tables, stools. Now, you have to rest on.
If you can remember what the original photo was like, that is right at the top. It's like the second floor. The reason why the building is as crooked as it is because the second Morton, when he died, he left money in his will to get his son to complete the roof on the South Range. So it was the first floor. Now his son John, no, I don't want that. I want to show off. I want the modern Elizabethan craze. I want a long gallery. So he put the gallery on the top, not thinking they didn't have much in the way of architects then who do all the equations and what have you. The roof alone weighs over 30 tons. And the gallery itself is roughly between 3 and 4 meters narrower than the building underneath. Consequently, it's got no foundation whatsoever. It was in danger of collapse until the trust spent roughly, I think it was £2 million, having a lot of steel work put in to prop it up. It's okay now, it won't collapse, but just look at that.
To the back of that.
Now,
actually there, Adrian's
which bit
got
of that is straight?
I know. It's the first place I've been to that I can remember that's got one of them medieval toilet chutes.
Oh yeah,
it's got
like
two.
Colchester. Like Colchester
We've got
Castle.
2. I haven't got pictures of them.
Very good idea, actually.
Now I'm just whipping through
That's
these,
the Great
Bob, because
Hall.
I've just noticed the time.
All right. I talk too much.
We finish it off past 9, and I've just realised it's 20 past. Richard
All right, I can come
Dale,
back at some other time.
carpenter, made these windows by the grace of God.
Proud of his work.
Is
He
that-
couldn't spell.
Yeah.
Is that what?
I was going to say that writing. How did they? That must have been overwritten years upon years upon years.
Yes. And it's still the original timber. There's 4. No, go on.
No, it's got breasts.
If you need to finish off, guys, I can come back again anytime.
No, Bob. Honestly, I was just going through the photographs quick. So, as I said, we've got 10 minutes left, so we've still got time to have a chat. No worry about that.
Rob, regarding you originally volunteered. Obviously, people who are members of the National Trust can go there, but how much is it to go if you're not a member? For the day?
I'll have to look it up. I haven't paid for over 30 years. I don't pay.
If you are local though, or within a travelling distance, I mean, both of them, they must be 15, 20 minutes away from each other. If you know the quick route over Malcop, they're even quicker. But which incidentally, Adrian, there's a hill between called Malcop, and there's a folly on top of that, which is a castle, which was made Victorian, Bob?
I think so, Dave, yeah.
Which has got, you can see it from everywhere. It's fantastic.
They had a lot of Methodist meetings up on Malcop, didn't they?
Mm.
When Methodism first got going, that was one of the meeting places.
Do you know what, Bob? But tonight I've realised, after knowing you for 15 years, you actually sound like I can't remember his name now. My mind's gone blank, but you sound like him. What's his name?
Thanks.
Goes up the chimneys. Steeplejack. Fred Dibner. There you go.
Fred?
Yeah. not the accent, but the voice tones.
Oh yeah, he's a bit actually.
Ange says it costs about £12, Adrian. She only joined the National Trust because I'm there nearly every weekend.
Yeah, we've got a place, Hyde Hall, in Essex, which is not as extravagant as that, but it's got beautiful gardens, and my wife goes there a lot. And I think it's more than that down south. I think it was 18 quid to go. But if you buy it,
better to have a membership.
Yeah, because that's like 70 quid or something. Or yeah. Tim's right.
Information from the from Ange and Derek. There's supposedly a tunnel there from Asbury Church, which is a fantastic church with a Templar grave. They brought a Stone Age axe head out of the moat that surrounds Little Morton Hall. They do a fantastic, for people with young families, they do a fantastic Easter events at Little Morton Hall. I don't think I've been to the ones at Biddulph, but definitely at Little Morton Hall. Donna says there's probably loads of tunnels, underground passages. Definitely. I wouldn't say myself a 2-mile one. It is a bit too far, that. The right-hand doorway leads to Cake, which is nice. Derek says there's lots of witch marks there. John Nicholson from Queen Pod, he loves Little Morton Hall. Has everything ever been found in the moat? As Anne's just said, a Stone Age axe head.
My local pub.
The oldest mason's mark I've seen is a Viking one. Sorry, go on, carry on.
Sorry, my local pub's got tunnels to the church near me. It's quite a big church, and the local pub's got tunnels, and they're still there, but they've been blocked off at both ends, which is quite sad, really. But yeah, they met there for the Peasants' Revolt, one of the places they met for the Peasants' Revolt. And I've spoken to people. There's a guy I spoke to about 10 years ago. He's probably dead now. And he told me when he was a young kid, him and his mates, like when they were at school and used to have to go to church then, they used to go through the tunnels and run up to the pub into the cellar and then run back again. And it's so cool. And obviously now, health and safety, it's all been filled in and probably full of asbestos or something now. But yeah, it's interesting actually. There's a lot of tunnels under places. There always is. You sort of dream of finding a tunnel as a kid, don't you? I did anyway.
I mean, I still do now. In fact, somebody, I can't even remember who it was now, but claimed there was a tunnel in their house, and I was straight down there trying to bloody get into it.
It's like air raid shelters, isn't it? When I was a kid, I used to love going in there, like friends who had houses with air raid shelters. I'm not talking about Anderson. I'm talking about proper concrete ones. Used to have them in their gardens and used to go down there and play in them. And so many people filled them in. And it's a great place to keep wine, cheese. It's like a fridge down there.
Metal detectors.
No, they wouldn't. It's not good for them. I told you
I've got a bit of heating in there, a bit of insulation. You'd be right.
Very damp. They're very damp. But we had Marconi, the famous radio guy, based in Essex here in Chelmsford, and a lot of staff who lived in houses around the area had the shelters built for them in the garden because they were so key to the Second World War. And two of my friends years ago remember going around their houses, and they were nice houses, like 4-bedroom detached 1930s semis, and they all had massive shelters in the garden. God, I used to love playing in them. Don't know what it is. I've got an Anderson shelter in my garden at the top, but they just filled it in. Yeah, they just buried it and filled it in because I've got to be careful if I go over it with the metal detector. It's like, boom, proper.
I wonder if they get out one weekend.
Well, I think whoever made it, because they didn't quite submerge them, did they? But mine has obviously sunk and they've squashed the metal, and it's fair sort of size, about the size of a.
I was saying at the start of the show, we've not got time to speak about it tonight, but Bob travels the length and breadth of the country to the likes of Cosford, don't you, to go to the air museums and such like as well.
Yeah.
It's another one of your passions.
Oh, Derek Sherwin. Sorry.
Is there really? So in the as you go into the car park at Little Morton Hall, there's a mound, and it's always been questioned what that mound actually is. So Derek said there's supposed to be an archaeological dig going on there sometime soon, Bob.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
That'd be interesting.
Well, I'm definitely going to have to come and visit the Grange and have a look at the Cenobites.
Cafe.
The Cenobites were Hellraiser, weren't they?
Well, you got the cake shop, Dave.
Dave.
Sorry?
Every Sunday morning I'm up there.
Right, yeah.
In the Geology Gallery.
I'm at Kiel this Sunday, football.
All right. I can arrange it for another time then.
Yeah, well, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Would you have to pay, Dave?
Sorry?
Would you have to pay?
I'll blag me
No,
away.
I can get Dave in for nothing. Well, there you go.
Oh, be nice if you could blag a.
I think I can get 2 in on my volunteer card. I think so.
Oh, it's worth getting a job there, isn't it? For that. Do they have like?
I don't pay anywhere else either.
Oh no. Do they have wine?
So you don't have
beer?
to buy your National Trust membership anymore, then?
No, I've kept that up, Dave, because I really do like it as a charity.
Yeah.
Do they have wine or beer in the cafe?
They generally have a craft beer, and the small bottles of wine. They aren't cheap. Bring your own.
They aren't cheap. They've also got them in the little shop as well, with all the. I tell you what, they do have exceptionally good at Biddulph Grange. They have a fantastic selection of plants and such like to buy. Loads of stuff like that. Massive selection. It was, right. Eric said it was advertised some time ago, but watch this space. So, right. Well, that is gone very quick tonight, hasn't it, Adrian?
Yes. Nice seeing you, Robert.
His name's
Thanks
Bob.
to everybody for listening.
Robert.
Who's Robert? He had Bob. Is it Robert or Bob?
Rob, Bob, I answer to most things.
He has one of the greatest ever Christmas
I'm
shirts.
I'm actually Victor at home.
Victor
Meldrew.
Meldrew.
Oh, Meldrew. Yeah.
He's got a fantastic Christmas jumper. Pops up in my feed every year without fail.
Oh, that's interesting. And Sherwin, thanks, Ange. Once you've worked so many hours voluntary for the National Trust, they give you a card which gives you free admin.
Yeah, 50 hours. I've got one.
Brilliant. Right, thank you very much.
I've just got to point out as well,
Bob.
one year, me and Bob stood side by side and watched the eclipse together. And then I got told off for putting things on pictures of us on Facebook. Because if it's a sack on the fence.
Managers.
Get that picture of us off Facebook. You knew I was doing it. Anyway, some time ago. Bob, it's been an absolute pleasure. Send my regards to Nikki.
Yeah.
Also, are they cassettes, as in like cassettes behind your head on the shelf? CDs?
They're CDs. It's all right. Yeah.
Have you got wrapping? Is that wrapping paper?
No, this is the spare room now. Since
he's under the stairs, Adrian.
All the junk's in here. They're up now. What you're looking at is cushions off the garden furniture. We bring them in.
I see you've.
There's wrapping
you got
paper there. Yeah.
You got some magazines behind you. Oh, you must be into cars. You got some magazines. What is this? An Escort? You got a Ford Escort? There's an Escort magazine up on the shelf.
He's got Fiesta.
I was joking.
Sorry. Caught me. Right, Bob. Everyone. Can't thank you enough. Everybody, if you're out this weekend, have a fantastic weekend out and about detecting. Razzle as another one. We always end up talking about artistic magazines on this show. Don't know why. And we haven't got a guest lined up as yet for the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, I've got a couple of things planned for the end of next month. Go on. You had your hand up there.
Might have one. Might have one. Working on one. Interesting one.
Interesting one. They're all interesting. Right, Bob, thank you very much. Adrian,
my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Everybody, thank you very much. And we'll see you same time, same place next week. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.